Hi everyone, my name is Aniqua Miller. I'm a sophomore biology major from Raleigh, North Carolina, and me and Paris have the taxon of squirrels. And our question is, what is the ecological importance of squirrels? Have you ever been in your yard and seen a furry little rodent with a big tail, slender body, and a pronounced teeth scurry up a tree? Well, you've probably seen some kind of squirrel. Their main purpose is to be digging holes in lawns and gardens in search of roots, stems, bark, shoots, leaves, flowers, fruit, and nuts. And their only mission is to find food and hide it in preparation for the winter. But as you're going to learn, some squirrels do not hibernate. Characteristics of tree squirrels are that there are three large groups: large tree squirrels, pine squirrels, and flying squirrels. Large tree squirrels include fox squirrels, eastern gray squirrels, western gray squirrels, and tassel-eared squirrels. The two species of pine squirrels include red squirrel and the Douglas pine squirrel. And last but not least, the flying squirrel include the southern flying squirrel and the northern flying squirrel. But the squirrels that I'm going to be talking about include the fox squirrel, the eastern gray squirrel, and the American red squirrel. So first, the fox squirrel can be measured up to 18 to 27 inches, and their scientific name is Sirius niger. They weigh from 1 pound to 2.5 pounds, and they vary in color based off their location. Typically, black fox squirrels are found in Florida, while silver gray with a white belly are found in Maryland. They have flexible ankle joints, which allow them to rotate their feet by 180 degrees when they're descending headfirst from the tree trunks. They build large nests out of twigs and leaves and use them for shelter and to rear their young. Second, the eastern gray squirrel vary in color as well, and their scientific name is Sirius carolinus. They have a distinct reddish cast to their gray coat. But the most rare kind of eastern squirrel is a black squirrel, but once again, they are very rare. They can weigh up to 1 pound to 2.5 pounds. Unlike some rodents, size does not distinguish between female and male in the category of eastern gray squirrels. Males and females are similar in size and color. Their fur ranges from grizzled dark gray to a pale gray, and many have reddish tones. So the typical color scheme of eastern gray squirrels is red with gray and white tints. And their underparts are white. And these are the squirrels that are typically seen on campus. And last but not least, the red squirrel. Red squirrels are red-brown above their white underparts, and they are recognizable by the deep reddish color in their small body. They are 6 to 7 inches long, and they are distinguishable by their visible ear tufts. They are known for having curved front claws and powerful hind legs, making them great climbers and jumpers. And red squirrels do not hibernate due to them having a source of food all year long. They mainly live in areas that have conifer trees, such as mountains in the eastern United States, in Northern Virginia, Illinois, Ohio, and Indiana. Once again, they live in woodland areas that are composed of conifer trees and a mixed conifer deciduous trees area. They eat seeds, buds, fruit, and insects, and a large part of their diet is pine seeds due to them living in a very foresty, woodland-y area. And they collect conifer cones and store them within their territories, which can grow very large. Where they hoard their nuts of 4,000 to 18,000 pines, depending on the type of pine, and this basically helps them survive the winter, very long winters. So right now you might be asking, what is the ecological importance of tree squirrels? But I'm not there yet, because I'm going to talk about their range and how it differs according to the type of squirrel they are. Eastern gray squirrels have a similar range to the fox squirrels, but do not occur in many western areas of the fox squirrel's range. They have been introduced in several locations in the West. So this means that fox squirrels are typically in eastern and central United States, and have left several locations in the West where they were mainly introduced. So that's a commonality for fox and eastern squirrels. The red squirrel is often associated with coniferous trees, so anywhere where there's coniferous/deciduous trees, you can find a red squirrel. But the type of red squirrel, which is a Douglas squirrel, is restricted to the west coast from southwestern British Columbia through to California. So, I'm about to answer the question of the ecological importance of tree squirrels and squirrels in general. Squirrels are the second most fed and watched animals in comparison to birds. Their ability to adapt and tolerate altered areas/environment seems to have corresponded with a high tolerance to areas that are disturbed more frequently. They play an important role by helping control the plant population by eating seeds, fruits, and transporting flower buds to new locations. Tree squirrels specifically act as reforesters by spreading seeds and nuts in the soils to regenerate trees, making them economically important to help prevent deforestation. There is a long coevolution of tree squirrels to benefit the coniferous oak, pine, and beech trees by constructing crops so rich that nuts can germinate if not eaten. This makes tree squirrels excellent indicators of an ecosystem's health and a preferred model system for various studies. The conservation and economy of squirrels in general includes them having many worldwide predators, including badgers, falcons, foxes, hawks, feral cats, and other carnivores. This makes squirrels important to the food chain because they are worldwide predators, like I said earlier. Being so diverse, squirrels have a high-level thinking strategies to enhance their survival, and their greatest advantage of being a rodent is being small. Because instead of fleeing, squirrels sometimes have behavioral characteristics where they'll fight back and run after you, but they will usually just hide, and this helps them cut back energy for locomotion. Also, they have a variation of coloration that avoids detection. So it's not really camouflage, but since they come in very neutral colors, it's easy for them to just blend into the environment if they do stop and they see a predator, and they don't have to worry about, darting for their lives to try to, find a little hole to seek shelter in. The greatest threat to squirrels is actually human expansion. Due to us growing cities and changing the land and adding non-native plants to the areas in which squirrels live in. In addition, humans hunt squirrels for pelts, meat, and sports. Little notice has been taken for ecological loss that correlates with the decreasing size of squirrel species. For instance, ground squirrels aerate the soil that brings nutrients to the surface, while forest ecosystems depend on tree squirrels' role to disperse and control insect outbreaks. So squirrels are also used for clothing and currency, mainly seen in European areas. Their skins are still used in North American Inuit tribes to make coats and boots. So we really need to just be careful with, making sure that we help by, replanting trees and smaller plants, only because we are expanding in the world today. If we don't have enough area for areas such as like woodlands and foresty areas, we will see a decrease in different kinds of species of squirrels in general, specifically ground squirrels to start with, and then tree squirrel as well. But thank you so much for listening, and Paris will talk to you about the squirrels she has researched.
Thank you, Nikki. My name is Paris Williams. I'm a biology major from Richmond, Virginia, and I'm a sophomore. In addition to the different kinds of tree squirrels, there are the northern flying squirrels and the southern flying squirrels. There are approximately 50 different species of these two types of squirrels found in forests around the world. The northern flying squirrel is light cinnamon brown and gray on the top and creamy white on the stomach. Along with this color, the long flattened tail is used to change direction when flying. These squirrels weigh between 75 to 140 grams and range from 275 to 342 millimeters long. Depending on their habitat, they live from 5 to 10 years in captivity and half of that in the wild. Because they are nocturnal animals, they have large black eyes that they use to hunt and search for food at night. By hunting at night, they are able to escape from the prey that hunt for them during the day. Along with this distinct color and large eyes, northern flying squirrels have a fleshy membrane, or patagium, that is between its front and back legs. This notable component of the squirrel enables it to actually glide in the air from tree to tree. The diet of a northern flying squirrel is omnivorous. Of course, nuts is one of their favorite foods, but berries, eggs, insects, sap, and fungi are some of the main prey that they search for. These squirrels are at times carnivores as well because of some of the meats that they eat. According to the Journal of Mammalogy, the fungi that these squirrels ingest relate to the environmental factors in which they live. For example, truffles, which are the fruiting bodies of mycorrhizal fungi, are associated with larger and older living trees in moist, wet, organic soils. Additionally, the epigeous fungi are more abundant in dead wood and broad trees around cool, wet habitats. The southern flying squirrel is part of the same family and genus as well. Though it may seem as though it and the northern flying squirrel are more similar than anything, there are actually some major differences. For instance, the southern flying squirrel is smaller than the northern flying squirrel. It is about 7 to 10 inches long. It has a thick, silky gray-brown fur on the top and white fur on the bottom. Just as a northern flying squirrel, they have large black eyes for nighttime vision and the patagium to glide in the air. The diet of the southern flying squirrel is the same as the northern. It is an omnivore that eats a variety of foods, including seeds, insects, nuts, and fruit, just to name a few, but also meat as well. Because the flying squirrels do not come out in the winter, they store nuts and seeds in the ground and in discrete places throughout the year so they can save it for the winter. Northern flying squirrels do not hibernate. Instead, they decrease their time outside during the colder months. During late March and late May of every year, their squirrels begin to mate. The gestation period, which is the period when the baby is being developed in the womb, lasts approximately 40 days. Finally, between May and June, the mother gives birth to roughly 2 to 7 babies. When they are born, they are blind and naked but have a well-developed patagium. When they are around 3 months old, they begin to glide and forage with their mothers. Just as the northern flying squirrels, the southern flying squirrels do not hibernate either. Instead, they nest together during the winter. By doing this, their metabolic rate and body temperatures reduce in order to conserve energy and heat. Unlike the northern flying squirrel, who mate once a year, the southern squirrels mate twice, in the early spring and late summer. Gestation period lasts approximately 40 days, and soon the mother gives birth to 2 to 7 babies. At 4 months old, the babies become independent, and at about 5 to 6 weeks old, they begin to glide. Northern flying squirrels are located primarily in forest and mountainous areas of the northeast and west coast of the United States, as well as Canada. According to the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, northern flying squirrels are important to forest regeneration and timber production because they disperse spores of fungi like truffles. As mentioned before, truffles are the fruiting bodies of fungi. They depend on animals, in this case flying squirrels, to smell them out, dig them up, consume them, and disperse their bacteria and dead material. The squirrel also protects areas that have been burned or damaged with the fungi that helps plant roots to absorb nutrients and maintain good health. Southern flying squirrels are located predominantly on the southeast of Canada, the east coast of the United States, and down to Texas and Minnesota. Specifically, these squirrels live in mixed forests with old hardwood trees that have areas to nest in, such as maple and hickory trees. Like the northern flying squirrel, the southern squirrel plays a significant role in the dispersal of the fungi and its truffles along the areas that have been damaged. Along with cats, hawks, coyotes, weasels, and raccoons, spotted owls are one of the top species that are dependent on flying squirrels as prey. In order to escape these predators, the squirrels fly to a tree trunk and hide. However, depending on whether or not the predator has the ability to fly and climb, it is possible for them to get caught. Thank you for watching, and good night.